Good afternoon, Internet. Welcome to episode 2 of Parasol Connections. I'm Henry Clifford, and I work at Parasol with the best technology people in the business. We're broadcasting live from the home office here in sunny Richmond, Virginia. And I want to thank you for joining us. I know we've got customers, employees, and first-time callers, long-time listeners on with us today. We know you have a choice how to spend your lunch hour. We thank you for choosing us. We started this show because our customers have been asking us to do this in person for a long time. The pandemic has hampered traditional opportunities to meet new people. So the idea of doing a show with industry experts and inviting our community became a no-brainer overnight. In coming episodes, we'll be hanging out with top tech industry experts, making sure you get answers to all your burning questions. Speaking of questions, if you have questions as we're going along, just drop them into the chat and we'll have a chance for some Q&A at the end. Cool? Let's take it away. I'm honored to be joined in the studio by a couple of industry rock stars. I'm talking about none other than Chris Sturley, CEO and owner of Acoustic Design Systems in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Look forward to some really good information coming out of this.
Thanks for being here, Chris. I'm also joined by Olivia Gibson, Manager of Marketing and Client Relations at Elite Media Solutions out of Wellesley, Massachusetts. Welcome, Olivia.
Hi, great to have everyone on and excited to have some conversation.
Sweet, awesome. Thanks for being here, Olivia. Let's just start easy. Chris, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be doing what you're doing.
Well, when I was fired from every job I had before this, I needed to do something on my own. Always had a bit of a background in this industry back in the mid to late 90s, selling Bose, delivering much too big TVs into very small spaces, 40-inch Mitsubishi tubes. Don't regret or don't miss carrying those TVs around at all. Started my company in 2001, changed the name a bit in 2003 to Acoustic Design to the current iteration, and have just been busting my butt for years trying to make our industry a better place and give our industry a really good name.
Yeah, and I see it. I see you doing it every day, man. Olivia, same question. I mean, tell us about your journey. How did you come to sort of be doing what you're doing at Elite?
Sure. I kind of have a unique path, as many of you may know. The owner is also my dad. So I've kind of grown up in this industry and kind of seeing it evolve over time, as well as seeing Elite Media Solutions evolve into what it is today. Out of college, I started working in marketing and kind of would give my dad advice on kind of marketing and how he should kind of be doing it for this industry. And then we had a conversation, and that's what brought me to working here. Marketing in my role here has really evolved into mostly client relations, and that's how we grow our business and that's how we make more connections. So, Parasol has been a great, way to kind of bring that in. So I've really been able to bring in new business and new different journeys for Elite, which has been really exciting.
Yeah, that's so cool. I always love hearing how we all got into the business. I mean, I think the wildest one I ever heard was maybe Pete DeVries with Snap One. I think was a virtuoso violinist before getting into CI. So we all come at this from different places, and it's so cool. A really good gumbo and makes. So Chris, tell us about what led you guys at Acoustic Design to sort of and end up evaluating 24/7 support and ultimately becoming a Parasol dealer.
Pretty easy, actually. We are very service focused and long-term customer focused in our business. We really truly believe we are a service business. And we're know that the customers that we currently have are going to be long-term customers with us. And we needed to find a way. We do about 1,000-ish projects a year. We would need to find a way as the years tick by, how to make sure that we could always properly and best support those long-term customers of ours. We have a fully dedicated service department, and they were also feeling a bit of the brunt as the years ticked by, needing to have an additional solution for solving customers' problems, both proactively and on the fly when customers are experiencing issues. So we looked at the Parasol solution. We were already selling all of the gear that has Oversee built into it. So it felt like a really natural fit for us. And we gave it a try. We brought it in-house because we test everything in-house before we roll it out. We wrote a dead nuts perfect process for doing the entire thing. So we're a very process-driven company. So everything from the first time talking to a customer, how we're going to implement it, how it goes into our RMR billing cycle, every bit of it was worked out beforehand. We figured out in-house that it worked perfectly for us, and we rolled it out, and we've finding tremendous success with it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Olivia, how about you guys? What was the journey that ultimately led you guys to sort of say, hey, you know what, we really need to sort of get serious about this and step into the world of 24/7 support?
So I think, from a client relations standpoint, there's been a lot of conversations prior to doing Parasol that something needed to change. We needed to give our clients better service. As Chris said, we're really in the service industry, and you can't just do a job and walk away and say, see, your technology is going to work perfectly forever. So we definitely needed to have something. I think we're definitely a smaller business than Chris is. So we tried to prep as much as we could and understand the process as much as possible. But, we were a little hesitant to get started, a little bit nervous because it's a big change. It's, a different way to look at service. And honestly, when the pandemic hit, we saw that need for people to have remote support just be huge. And we just decided, you know what, put one foot by the other and go for it. And we have just also seen tremendous success. And we've just learned to pivot and be flexible with the process as we keep going. And we definitely, I think our biggest regret is we didn't start sooner because we were afraid, that we needed everything to be together. But as a smaller business, we said, you know what, we trust our partners, we trust our vendors, and we'll figure it out. And we have, and it's been amazing.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, I know you mentioned smaller business, but I think if I have this right, Elite, at least it was a couple of years ago, you guys were showcased as having the highest labor utilization per employee in our entire industry. So
that is true.
I mean, that's pretty. So I mean, don't sell yourself short of that one. So, what do you think, Chris? Other dealers need to know. I mean, think back to when you guys were getting involved. You've got some time in the elevator with somebody thinking about this, right? CD is coming up, right? This is
Sure.
a great example of these chance conversations. I mean, what are you sharing with another dealer thinking about this? What do they need to know?
I think it's as with everything that we do, have a plan before you roll it out to your teams. It really will work if you do your job as the owner, as the principal, as a manager. The system really will work if you have a plan in place prior to rolling it out to your team. So this isn't going to be hey, let's flip a switch and all our problems are solved. You guys everybody should really have a plan going into this and then just work that plan. Parasol does a fantastic job providing literature and information on how properly to address each of the different devices and set up each of the different devices so they could then provide the best service to your customers as well. And as long as you have a plan for your team, you use the plan that Parasol has already put in place that they already know is successful, it works really, really well. It's pretty seamless so long as you bust your ass and do what you're supposed to do to make sure it is really seamless for you.
Yeah, I love that one. Olivia, same question, So I mean, this is going to happen, right? Somebody at CD is going to come up to you and say, hey, you guys are doing Parasol. I saw you on the webinar. What do we need to know? What do you wish you knew sort of going into it that you would share?
I think definitely having a plan, definitely doing all your research, understanding what Parasol is going to take requirement from your team to get it set up, and what it means for your clients. But I think the biggest thing, I think we wish we knew ahead of time was it's okay to be flexible. It's okay to adjust things after they've been rolled out. And I think you and I had this conversation previously, is we had a client recently that was really frustrated with why he was being asked questions. And when we were like, why is that? And we looked at it internally, and we realized he's frustrated because before he was able to say, oh, my son's bedroom with all the Red Sox decor, that's the room that I'm talking about. And so we kind of had to pivot and say, listen, these 24/7 support guys are the experts in the products and fixing your problems. They're not the expert in your house to know which bedroom is which and which thing is connected to that. And once we started realizing that's kind of how our clients thought, and being, okay, let's switch it. All those clients have been like, oh, I totally get it now, super happy. So kind of seeing how each client receives it, and knowing it's okay to kind of pivot a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I feel like from the very beginning, we've always tried to communicate that, that to our dealers, that make sure you let your customers know, like, they're not just calling down the street, and that probably goes into a little bit of expectation setting, which we'll get to in a little bit. But what about stumbling points, or places where it might be a challenge for a new dealer, some common pitfalls or areas where they might struggle? Chris, any thoughts there?
I would just echo what she said. I mean, just be malleable. There's so often that we think we're all in this alone and we're the only one that has the answers, but there are so many great people in our industry. Henry, you and I chat on a regular basis, sharing best practices and trying to help one another out. There are so many smart people in our industry, and just don't be closed-minded to someone's great idea. So just don't say, well, the way that Parasol wants me to set this up is all wrong. That's not the case. There's always a better way. Just be open-minded to the process and make sure that your process falls in line with the goals that you set for yourself. And I don't see a pain point at that point. You just follow what's already been set up. With a lot of other dealers are finding tremendous success with this product. It doesn't make sense to be turned off to it just because you think you're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. How about Olivia? Any stumbling points or places where either you guys struggled or you think a new dealer might struggle?
Sure. I mean, obviously, Parasol, you guys provide like a great amount of tools on the back end for the dealer, like in regards to templates for documents and how to sell it and marketing tools and all of that. So that's super helpful. For us, I think, the stumbling point for us was just get going with it, make a plan and just do it, because you are going to be amazed at the, what you get from your clients. Because the second we started talking about it and just going for it with our plan, our clients were like, oh my gosh, I want that. Oh yeah, I want that. A client calls for service that maybe has some of that Wapbox stuff, has some of that, hey, now we offer this 24/7 support. That's going to cost what a service call would cost you. And you'd have this remote support, and they're like, oh my goodness, sign me up. So I think for us, the stumbling point was just being nervous about not being prepared enough. But you guys provide so much. Just create a plan, like Chris said, and just go for it. It'll all work out, and it's great.
Yeah, that's great. One of the things we experienced inside Livewire, my integration business, is when Parasol started solving issues, they also started escalating issues back to us to sort out. And I can remember gaps in our game as far as dealing with escalated service requests. Like, if we didn't have that nailed down, that showed up real quick. And so Parasol has made us a better integration business. And so it's sort of been a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'd say, like, my own experience on that would have been like, any gaps, like any small gaps in your game as far as service, excellence. Like if those little hairline cracks, with implementing a program like that internally may there's an opportunity to repair those versus having them sort of gap wider with the introduction of 24/7 support. What about expectations, right? And by that I mean, I think on our website it says something like what can Parasol monitor and what Parasol cannot monitor. We can't monitor wicker swings or plants or toasters, I think we say, just as a joke. But Chris, can you speak a little bit to expectation setting with customers when they think they have this sort of magic, all-seeing eye of Sauron, sort of, well, maybe that's not a good analogy, but this sort of friendly kind of friendly backstop, the Parasol. What expectations are you setting with clients?
I think we're all Lord of the Rings geeks a little bit, so I think the Sauron all-seeing eye is a good reference. I think the expectation is that this is just going to be another avenue to eliminate pain points for the customer. We all should be telling our customers up front, yes, we design the best systems, we put together the products that always work together the best, we find the best success with these products, but they are still electronics. They have communication issues from time to time. There are going to be problems with these. We are a lifetime partner with you through this entire process. This is just helps with a lot of those pain points. One of the great thing I think Parasol does and helps with is those first couple months rollout where you find you're working out the little bugs on a larger system over the first 1, 2, 3 months after an install. Parasol does a really good job when the customers actually have to call in and the ticket does get escalated, like you were saying, Henry. They give you so much information up front so that if you do have to roll a truck and go out and see the customer, most of the discovery has already been completed and you already know in your mind based on the notes that the Parasol employees have given you, I know exactly what this is. This has been a problem before, and they can go out there and fix the problem pretty quickly. So it speeds up truck rolls and it cuts down on truck rolls all at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So just letting your customer know that we're in this together. These first couple of months, we're going to work out the bugs, but remotely, we're going to be working on this at the exact same time. So you don't have to take another day off work. You can just go about your lives. We'll still be working on this in the meantime.
Yeah, that's great. Olivia, any expectation setting sort of words of wisdom or things you guys are doing or things maybe you've learned the hard way?
Yeah, sure. I think, two of the things I think we've done that's been really helpful is one, the way we structure our proposals that we send out to the clients. If it's a control 4 system, we kind of have a description on what does that mean, how does that work. Same with 24/7 support. We have kind of a description, the layout of the plan that you're getting right up front in the beginning. So the conversation starts from day one, what we're offering the client. And then 2, once a Parasol system with the client goes live, I actually email the client kind of a sheet that I've taken from you guys and I've kind of reworked with our brand colors. In marketing, I have to make it ours, but I try and set that expectation there that and I try to adjust it as expectations change, so we've seen, there might be longer hold times for people because it's the summer and people are really using their systems and, putting that in there that you might have to wait for a call back, whatever it is, and just setting those expectations and kind of connecting, which I think Chris has kind of said, that we're still a partner with you. This is just an extra piece to help you on that Saturday night when, of course, something is going to go wrong because it's technology. We're going to put in the best we can, but to have that extra layer of support is just kind of what the expectation is.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm always curious about is just talking about how it's positioned in a conversation with a client. So, I mean, I really would love to hear from each one of you guys about how early, late, when do you bring up 24/7 support in the process? What does that look like? Do you bring it up sometimes? How do you bring it up? And then is it a competitive differentiator at all? Has it helped you win or lose business? Chris, any thoughts on this one?
I think it's definitely helped us win business. For us, it is just part of who we are. It's why we've been successful with it. I think we've all gone to buy a printer and you're like, all right, I've convinced myself I'm going to buy a $300 printer. And you get to the counter and the person says, oh, would you also like the extended warranty for X amount of dollars? Like, no, I just committed to buy this thing. Why do I have to pay more money for it? It's not part of the product. Our process, it is part of every conversation that we have. And we bring it up not as it's a Parasol thing. It's just part of the service that we offer. And we do not offer any type of a system whatsoever that this isn't built in and part of. The same way that every system we do is in an equipment rack, because we all know that it keeps the equipment clean and cooler. It's easily serviceable, so forth and so on. It's just part of who we are. So it's part of every conversation that we have. So when we're talking about the system and rollout, it's part of, well, what's the support like? So if there's ever an issue, we're constantly monitoring the system. If we see something go offline, if there's a hiccup in communication, we're able to reboot all of these products remotely to have less downtime so you can enjoy time with your family and not be on the phone cussing at us. And it's been successful because it's not a afterthought or a side thought. It's just part of everything that we do at this point.
Yeah. Olivia said, you want me to restate the question, or you gotta?
It's honestly the same thing for us. It goes into every new proposal going out the door. And one of our biggest things as a company is we won't sell you something that we wouldn't want in our own homes that we truly stand by. There's a reason we sell a certain, caliber of product and we don't go lower, because we want it to be reliable and we want it to be something that's of quality. And same goes for 24/7 support. You're having a family party and you might need that extra piece of support. So for us, it's honestly the same thing. It is in the all-encompassing, when you're getting a proposal from us, yes, you're getting maybe a TV and speakers, but you're getting the Elite Media Solutions experience. And part of that now is 24/7 support. And that's part of what we offer, and kind of just goes in with every new system for us.
I feel like for our industry for a long time has had really a hard time looking our clients in the eye and saying the project is just the beginning. The aftercare is real. That's the relationship. We are going to be in a relationship. We put in a garden for you that needs weeding and care, etc. Right? And as an industry, I think we've had a hard time sort of reconciling that. The HVAC industry hasn't, the IT guys haven't, and they have no issues with it. So it's cool to see our industry shifting a little bit with that mindset. Do you guys feel like you have more permission now to sort of acknowledge that, that you're gonna experience issues, and when you do, here's what happens, or just maybe speak to that a little bit. Like, has there been a shift? Have you always been this way? Or, what's the overall, have you seen a shift as well? Or does any of what I'm saying sort of make sense? Chris?
Can Olivia go first once? Geez, man.
I can go first.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Actually, how about this? You guys both go at the same time. Go. No, just kidding. Yeah, go for it, Olivia.
Okay. I have 100% seen the shift. It's definitely been one of those taboo things where, like, hey, I'm going to sell you this expensive system that might have issues down the line. It's a scary thing to say, but it is technology. Things are going to happen. And I think the biggest thing for us is, with people working more from home and people spending more time at home, has been the biggest opening of the door to say, listen, you maybe were spending your mornings and your evenings at home. And that's when you were experiencing your technology and maybe everything seemed perfect. But when you're using it literally 24/7, you kind of need that 24/7 support to go along with it. And the way we've kind of approached talking about that is not like, oh, we're going to sell you this and then something's going to go wrong. It's just that we understand you're working from home, and we understand that your work is very important. You might be on calls with international calls or with your clients, And you want your network to always be working. You want all these pieces of your house to work. And we know how important that is to you. And having this 24/7 support means you can access someone that much faster, because you're getting a broader reach. So for us, I think that shift in how people are working and where they're working from has kind of shifted us to be able to talk about needing 24/7 support.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Chris?
We have I always tell people that it's going to break. I say, if there is another integrator, if it's a competitive bid situation, and I tell them, like, if another integrator is telling you everything's going to be perfect, we're great at what we do, I'm like, they are lying to you, because shit gonna break. It always does, and it's going to break. The big thing with being a partner with us is we are always here for you as far as our service and long-term support of the system goes. And this is another layer that adds and enhances to what we already offer as a local brick and mortar type of a company. This is another service that's just on top of our existing service that helps their system stay up longer. It is a necessity, I believe, in this time and world where, like Olivia was saying, people are using these systems all weekend, all night, all the time. So they need access to somebody. And as us integrators, we want time with our families. We want to give our employees time off. We can't run our own 24/7 service for the most part. So it is just a tremendous addition to what you're already doing to support your customers.
And clearly you guys are fired up, right? You guys as leaders in your organizations are fired up. How do you radiate that excitement and sort of communicate it so that everybody, from the really stoked up Kool-Aid drinkers all the way down to the sort of as one of my friends put it, the guys who make their way to the back of the bus, right? Not that any of us have folks like that in our companies, but how do you address like a wide set of sort of buy-in, attitudes, etc., and implement this in the organization? Can you speak to maybe how you kind of radiated outwards the excitement, in the organization, Olivia?
Yeah, I think, for us, like, we are, I work with my dad, so we are like a family business, and we kind of treat everybody within like kind of a family. And I think, like Chris said, we value our employees' time at home when they're not at work. And if we all work together and get 24/7 into as many clients' homes as possible, that frees up those texts that sneak through on the weekend, those emails that creep in, when you're trying to have a family barbecue. And from the top down, I think, also, like Chris said, systems are going to break, and we're going to have to go back, and we're going to have to potentially do a service call or fix them. But if you have Parasol and they can look at it and maybe just, diagnose it and cut down that time that we're diagnosing a system, really frees up our team to keep moving and to keep doing more jobs and to be more successful as a company. So I think the way we kind of radiate it is it all affects all of us. I get fewer phone calls. They get me bugging them less, saying, hey, you got to jump off of this job and go help so-and-so. And it's really just reduced the stress all around for everybody. And I think feeling that relief is kind of what's just made everyone so excited about doing it. I think we spoke before, like one of our programmers, when he talks to clients about that were previous to Parasol, he will be like, you got to check this out. You've got to get on board. And before you know it, he sold them on Parasol, and he's just flipping the switch because he sees the relief he's getting from it. So that's kind of how we've kind of kept it going, and just everyone's been excited about it.
Olivia, I think that sort of protect this house appeal is gold, pure gold. That was really cool to hear. Chris, would love to hear how have you guys kind of spread it out, or sort of how do you spread the good news?
Yeah, of course. As you know, real process driven. What we did once we brought it in and we're vetting it and testing it in our system, we had our programmers and service techs help with writing the process of the best way to roll this out, because you and I have talked offline so much about processes and how best to have employees buy into new processes and buy into new ideas that are coming from the top down. And we have always found that if we include them in the conversation, in the process while writing the process, they're a lot easier to buy into the long-term success of whatever that process might be. So for us, like I said, we tested the Parasol in-house on our in-house system here. We had our technicians sit down, go through all the Parasol paperwork. They had some great ideas that we hadn't even thought of. And because they were their ideas, they were more easily buying into this new thing that we were going to do no matter what.
Yeah, participation in the creation of the work.
Absolutely.
That's such a killer message. Yeah, that's just and what about incentives? Would love to hear. Are you guys doing anything? Do you reward folks for bringing somebody on as a subscriber? Olivia?
We don't currently.
Okay. Chris, do you guys do anything special for, you know, somebody sells a subscription or brings them onto Parasol?
Absolutely, we do. We have a part of the commission program we run for all of our systems designers in-house. So they are getting a stipend off the systems that they sell. In the original proposal, we're including 1 year of Parasol with the initial sale of the system. After that year, our salespeople are then following up with the customers and getting them into our RMR chargeover account to continue the service. And I have to say, remarkably, we have at 100% rate at this point of our salespeople, our systems designers being able to reach out to their existing customers, because our existing customers, after having it for a year, are seeing a tremendous value in it. So they're getting commission, a little stipend off of that as well.
Yeah. Looks like we've had some questions jump in. Looks like Joseph Thie said, this is more of a comment. He said, Chris, don't forget to talk about your Ohio roots, and maybe you can make that part of one of your answers. But let's see. RJ says, hey, Chris and Olivia, could you guys elaborate on what some of the specific common hardships you encounter with your clients and have you overcame? So I'm interpreting from this that RJ is talking about maybe some common support issues or success stories of maybe how Parasol was maybe able to help a client out of a thorny thicket. Olivia, anything come to mind?
I think the biggest challenge I think that we had previously is that we have growing pains. I
think RJ is just clarifying that maybe he just meant what kind of growing pains did you have, or pain maybe bringing on Parasol with your customers.
Sure. We have some clients that are down the Cape, so a couple hours from us. And so having Parasol and having 24/7 support for those clients has alleviated a lot of growing pains in that sense. I think, you know, when clients would say, oh, will you do my vacation house? It was kind of like, where is it? You know, because to do a service call 2 hours away isn't like, let me just jump off a job and go help you. So that has allowed us to really expand and do a lot of vacation homes for our clients, feeling confident that they're going to be supported and still get that elite service and support that they would get if they were, you know, local central to here. In regards to growing pains, I think, you know, and I spoke to my dad before this call because he couldn't be on it, and his biggest thing was kind of just put one foot in front of the other and just go for it and be flexible as you go through it.
Yeah. Chris, same question.
I was thinking about my vacation home. Can you repeat the question?
I love you. Relatable as always.
Yes,
so
always.
Let's see. Yeah. So I think RJ said, hey, did you have any growing pains? You know, as you maybe took this to your existing client base, where there was any friction with the existing customer base?
I definitely think it's hard for us. It's definitely harder, and I think it would be harder for most dealers to sell it to their existing client base, because the customer really simply is going to say, why would I pay you for this? You've been coming out for free for years to fix these issues for me. That's why we find so much success and know how important it is to sell it and have it as a part of the beginning conversation with every system we sell, because we're the good guys. We want the customer to be our friends. We want referrals. So we're going to go out there and we fix something after a year, after 2 years. And I think we do a bad job charging for those things because this guy's our buddy and he spent all this money with us and we're trying to be the good guy. This is a way to make sure that revenue is secure up front so you can really support those customers long term and not have that eat up all your profits.
Yeah.
And I'm from Ohio, so good to go. I
There you
checked all
go.
boxes.
Boom.
Yeah.
He got the meow in there. That's good.
I loved growing up there, but I ran out of gas before California trying to get as far away as possible.
The one that I found that was the biggest pain was, I would call that, as owner operators, sometimes we keep our own book of business, and over the years we collect people, and as text messaging is involved, our customers appear to get really good at that, more than any other group of people that I've ever encountered, actually. So so I'd say the pain of the texting VIP was my biggest personal pain of transitioning away, like the could you justs over and over. And I had to finally, the last person I had my journey to completely migrating over to Parasol was a guy who texted me on Christmas Eve. He knew, and I'd reminded him probably 3 or 4 times, like, hey, here's the contact, save it in your phone, here's who to call, da da da. And finally I just ghosted him on Christmas Eve, intentionally. 5 minutes later, I see a ticket pop across with Parasol, mission accomplished. So I'm only sharing that because I know, and I bet good money every single person here can relate to the texting VIP pain point. And so we've all been through it, including me.
Just to jump on that, because we started using Podium and getting all our clients to text in there. So while doing Parasol, we've also shifted, this is the number you need to text. And when it's not business hours, it auto-populates back that we're not open. But if you have 24/7 support, here's the number. And if you don't, call us during business hours and we'll tell you what it's about.
Yeah.
So it's we've kind of shifted that. So when people do text in on those times that were not available, it pops back, which has kind of helped with that. Like you said, people texting and not being able to get them.
Yeah. Right direction. I think we've tapped on a little vein of something here, because the chat is going nuts right now. So this is great. So Chris and Olivia, another question from the interwebs. Joseph Thies says, what is your process for picking clients? Are you more selective as your business has grown? Olivia, you want to just maybe speak to that one?
Sure. I'm trying to think if we've been picking clients. I'm gonna let Chris answer that one.
That's all right.
I'm not sure how to answer that one.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. So Chris might know.
I know.
It's really simple for us. After I don't know if you guys all remember 2008, those fun years, 8, 9, and 10. Coming back out of that, I realized prior to that, we were the company that said, oh, well, we just do everything. We do it all, just whatever you might need, we'll take care of it. And what that meant is we weren't really that good. If I'm being honest, we weren't really great at anything. We were just able to figure it out and stumble our way through each of them to find some success with each of the projects. Coming out of 2008, 9, 10, 2011, I really got very serious about finding a sector of this industry that we could get perfect at and just use that to grow the company. So when someone would, and that was high-end production for us. We have some very good high-end production builders. What that was able to do was create repetitiveness in everything that we did, that we were able to write processes off of. When we got perfect at that, and as we continued to grow, we were able to look at other sectors of the industry, light commercial, full custom, really large custom. We were able to take the same processes that we wrote for production residential, because it was, for all intents and purposes, a bit cookie cutter. We were then able to duplicate, modify, and maybe expand upon those processes for larger scale projects or commercial projects. So we didn't, I wouldn't say we turned away everything that we weren't great at during this time, but we turned down a tremendous amount of work that wasn't the work that we knew was going to be profitable just for cash flow. All we looked at was profitability. And as time went on, because we were getting great at one thing, that greatness seeped into a couple different other sectors. And now we have individualized departments for everything that we do, so that we have experts in custom commercial, fire safety, security, production residential. And it just took us stepping back, saying, we're not great at anything. Let's get great at one thing and build upon that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that's a challenge for a lot of us, is sometimes saying no. And
it's the most powerful world we have.
Yeah, or as my mother would say, the art of diplomacy is telling somebody to go to hell and having them enjoy the trip. So thanks, Mom. So Graham asks, what's up, Graham? Graham asks, what is the best practice when selling Parasol as an add-on for customer systems you've already had installed for the last few years? Either one of you guys want to tackle that one?
Sure. We've kind of the biggest, I think, selling point to selling it to an existing client is, this is how much it costs for Parasol. We sell it in 3 months, we sell it quarterly. That cost is the same as a service call. So when you just point it out, yeah, we could come out there this one time, but if you need us in another month, it's going to be another cost, versus having somebody that's monitoring your system 24/7 is huge, and you're saving so much money doing it. I also think for us, we have been selling the WAP box and all those pieces prior to getting on board with Parasol. So it's like you already have all the systems set up. We just have to flip the switch, and then you have this amazing service. And being able to access someone quicker than maybe, me picking up the phone, me taking the message, having to contact one of my techs, see what they think, who needs to go out there, calling back. It just eliminates all of that, which I think for existing clients is, what they've wanted.
Yeah. How about you guys, Chris? How are you doing this with your existing customer base?
As I was saying, we find a lot more success with newer customers, but like Olivia, well, real quick, I'll step back. So you were broken in that process before, when you were answering your customers' texts and giving them help. So kudos to you for ghosting them and making them go through the processes that you set up. We find a lot more success with new customers because it's just who we are now. For older customers, just like Olivia, we also use Podium. And I saw the question. Podium is just a thing that puts a little chat window on your website. You can see it at adslv.com if you want to go check it out. But then it also turns your main phone number into a textable number so customers can communicate with you. We've found success in selling it to existing customers the exact same way Olivia has, what she was saying, that when people call or write on a weekend and say, hey, I need some support, something's broken. I say, no problem. Do you have our 24/7, 365 service plan? And if not, then you could see us on Monday. We'll talk to you on Monday morning. And that has been something to spark interest in past customers. And we've been able to go back out and set up the initiation for the Parasol and existing customers and convert some of those older customers as well.
Yeah, that's great. And for you guys guys and gals who are dealers or interested dealers on the call, Parasol has a bunch of resources, including an email template, which has been tested and vetted pretty thoroughly. We used it at Livewire when we were ready to canvas our existing customer base. And the email basically announced a partnership with Parasol and included a link where the customer could sign up and gave them a promo code for 90 days free or something. And that link, which tied right into our back office, which we can do for any of you guys who are interested as well, is, just gave them an easy way to sign up right then and there. They don't have to call anybody. They just click, put their credit card in. So it went out to thousands of existing customers. And within the first 5 minutes, we had, I don't know, 30 or 40, subscriptions. Pretty amazing. So that one works, by the way. So just if anybody's interested in that, for what it's worth. So we've got another one. Keith says, Chris said they include it in every proposal. Does it show as a line item with a cost, or is it offered for a trial period at a discount? Chris?
It is a line item cost on the proposal. It is billed at full nut because we're in business to make money, just like everybody else on this call and everybody else watching this webinar. We should not be discounting our service. We're the reason that that system is able to stay up and running. We're the reason that they're able to have long-term support. We should not undervalue that partnership that we're bringing to our customers, long-lasting systems. So we don't discount it. It's a line item, but it's part of every conversation leading up until the sale, actually final sale, and collecting that check. It's part of everything. And it's not, oh, we also do this and you might want this, or we have this thing we offer. It's just, this is who we are. This is what our system does. And if someone says, well, I don't want that, that is a time where we might turn down a customer because we see the benefit it does for us. And we don't need those calls on the weekends, those telephone tough guys texting us saying, hey, I just need your help today. It's the Super Bowl. Like, this solves those problems for us.
Telephone tough guys. That's good. Yeah, let's see. Olivia, anything else on that one?
We actually do the same thing. It's a line item at full cost.
Yeah. And so, well, this next one then is a good one, which is, RJ says, can you elaborate? And this is key, I think. Can you elaborate on that switch from the first year included switching to a monthly, or were they already paying monthly for other stuff for you? So like, help talk through that flip, at the end of that first year. Was it front loaded in the proposal? Were they paying monthly from day one? Maybe talk through that a little bit. Chris?
Sure. The first year we do is included in the proposal as a line item at full price. After that, our salespeople, so our service department initially contacts the customers, letting them know that their 1-year anniversary is coming up, the warranty on their equipment is coming up, and we'd like to come out and do a tune-up on the system to dust everything, clean everything, just make sure everything is running at optimal things. Maybe recalibrate the room. Maybe the customer's got a new couch or a new rug. So recalibrate some of the audio, make sure everything is, the performance is there for all of the parts. And then our salespeople are either go on that call with our guys, or the customer turns it down, isn't interested in having us come out. So the salespeople are just calling them saying, hey, the 1 year that was included in the initial proposal is up. I need to set you up on our monthly billing, quarterly billing, or annual billing process. And they've seen the success of this over the last year. So we've had a 100% conversion rate with recontacting the customer and moving them into a RMR-based subscription versus just that included front year out the gate.
That's amazing. Olivia, can you speak to sort of your workflow around that?
So when we quote it the first quarter, and we bill quarterly from there. So our process is, we talk about it with the client up front. When they pay their initial job, the first quarter is covered. And then once Parasol becomes live for the client and we're introducing, how do you call the number? Where's the chat? How can they help you? How can you best describe your problems? At that point, when I talk to the client, I say, hey, this is something that bills quarterly. Which credit card would you like to put it on? And then it auto bills quarterly from there on out.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I was just thinking about it, Livewire, we have this philosophy of sort of everybody's a subscriber. So, and we have our 3 paid plans through Parasol. And then at the bottom, we have another plan called limited support. And so that way, every single person subscribes to something, even if what they're subscribing to is the permission for us to bill them on a sort of per incident basis. So I love hearing the different ways that we're all sort of doing this. Graham says, how do you overcome the objection about being charged for support within your company's initial 1-year warranty? Chris, Olivia, you guys want to speak to that?
I'll take it. Sure,
Yeah.
we're not available. We work 7 till 4 every day. We're not available 4:01 till 6:59 in the morning. We're not available on the weekends. The time that the customer is going to be at the house when they're home from work, they're sitting down with their family, sitting down at dinner, turning on music, watching a movie, on the weekends, watching sports, watching a golf tournament. We're not available to you. We're available all the rest of the time, and that's the support we're going to provide you, part of the warranty period and everything else. This is over and above what we're currently doing and giving you access to somebody when you're having problems when we're closed.
Yeah. Olivia?
It's the same thing, it's that your 1 year warranty is the 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but life goes on the rest of the time, Saturday, Sunday after 5. So that's what we're offering with the 24/7 support. So it's pretty much the same, kind of the same answer there.
Yeah, I love that. And we do the same thing. We'll say, well, yeah, sure. Call the office. No problem. If we're open, we'll talk to you. And if not, and so most customers immediately get that, and they're able to sort of make their peace with that and get it. And go ahead, Chris.
I just wanted to speak to also another thing about how to convert the customers you were asking about. So we only sell the higher level plan from Parasol. We don't even offer the lower plan. What was that, Olivia?
We do as well.
Yeah, so we don't even offer it. So even when we started looking at retaining those customers past that first initial year, we wrote a policy and built an entire sales plan and everything to offer, if they said, no, we just don't want it anymore, to still be able to offer a lesser plan. And we did a tremendous amount of work with it. We have not sold a single lesser plan, and we've converted everybody on the larger plan because everyone wants that phone number to call. They've gotten used to having someone available to them all of the time, and they love it. And no one's interested in getting rid of it at this point.
Yeah, and for us, we've seen the idea of proactive monitoring. I mean, to me, is one of the beautiful things about Parasol, is like telling that story of like we're keeping an eye on things, and that's only available in that sort of full plan. So it's good to hear. And actually, statistically, across our entire dealer base, that's the overwhelming majority of our subscriptions really stack or skew towards that higher tier plan. The other thing, we changed our standard warranty from 1 year to 90 days, but then we also offered an upgraded 2-year warranty for 5% of the job, which has dropped hundreds of thousands of dollars to our bottom line. So anybody who wants to talk more about warranties, I'm happy to email me anytime about that. So wow, it's 12:56, man. We're running out of time. So Patrick says, what do you guys include above and beyond the 24/7 monitoring? Anything above and beyond that in your plans, guys? Olivia, Chris?
Yeah, we include discounted service call rates. So if we do have to roll a truck, discounted rates, as well as kind of that tune up going there. Every year you have a big Halloween party or something. You can schedule us to come out ahead of time, and we'll make sure everything's running, and we'll run through the system and do that.
Yeah, Chris?
Oh yeah, we do biannual software firmware updates on all of the equipment. We let the customers know up front, this is the day, time we're going to be running these updates, firmware updates on all the equipment. They appreciate the constant communication, and it puts our information back in front of them biannually. And then we do a 1-year tune-up in-home for the customer as well. We do not discount service because it's a good revenue stream for us.
Yeah, and this is so cool that we've got probably more questions in the chat that we can get to, but I think we'll probably have to leave it there. But before we end, I want to give some shout outs. Okay. I want to give some shout outs to Brandon Wilmot is on the call. Brandon is our national account manager with Parasol. And he is also joined by our East Coast regional manager, Mike Cassidy. So Brandon and Mike, for those of you who posted questions in the chat and didn't get them answered, you're a current or interested dealer, they will be happy to talk to you about all things Parasol anytime you want. And so guys, thanks for being here. I also want to thank my partner, Ted Bremenkamp, our director of operations, for being here today. And my other partner in crime, Greg Simmons, big shout out to him as well. And then I would be remiss if I didn't thank Ashley Ray with Be Emergent for being in the sound booth, keeping us straight, keeping us on time, keeping this show in tippy top shape. And once again, want to thank our guests today, Chris Sturley and Olivia Gibson. This has been episode 2 of Parasol Connections. We love you guys. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next time.